Hi Leo, this is Mimi with Divination by Mimi. Welcome to your December 2017 tarot reading with a little bit of astrology. So just going into some astrology really quickly, a lot going on this month. I'm doing this on the 1st of December, and there is an interesting aspect already occurring. Your ruling planet, the sun, and you're a fixed sign, by the way. The sun is, of course, now in Sagittarius, and then we'll shortly be moving into the constellation of Capricorn. And Capricorn's going to be party central for a while, so we'll get into all of that. First thing to make note of is on the 1st of December, there is an interesting aspect of Uranus making an opposition to Mars. Mars is in Libra and Uranus is in Aries, and they're both at 11 degrees. So this opposition means, it can mean a couple of things. It's an enhancement, it's a reactive, it's not quite a conjunction where the energies are right on top of each other, but it's still a powerful aspect. And here's there's a positive and a potentially negative aspect to it. The positive one is that Mars is a fiery, energetic energy, and it's new, it's assertive, and it's fire. Uranus is an air energy, and it's in the constellation of Aries. Mars rules Aries, and Uranus is a progressive energy, an innovative energy, instantly things change kind of energy. So what we might be looking at here is some innovations technologically, some progress, and a lot of things. Now, on the negative side of that, there could also be an impasse as it relates to the assertion of the individual will versus the assertion of the collective will. So Mars is, again, the ruling planet of Aries, and Aries' motto is I am. It's the assertion of the individual, the will of the individual. And Uranus rules Aquarius, and Aquarius is all about the collective and how things affect everyone. So what you might find is sort of an impasse or a butting of heads as it relates to the assertion of the will, the individual will versus the assertion of the collective. I hope that makes sense. Also on the 3rd, there are a few aspects of interest. One tough one is Mercury goes retrograde on the 3rd. There's also a full moon in Gemini, ruled by Mercury at 11 degrees. There is also a rough aspect of Saturn making a square. That's a difficult aspect, friction aspect with Mercury. So if you have Gemini friends or you have Virgo friends, cut them some slack because it's going to be tough for them. They're going to have the miscommunication and the kind of haziness of Mercury retrograde, and then they'll have the restrictive energy of Saturn, which is making a square with Mercury. And that's going to serve to kind of feel like a brick wall, like, you know, so the normal thing for problem solvers like Geminis and Virgos is to solve the problem. If there's a miscommunication or if there's not enough details, the idea is to search out those details. With the rough aspect of Saturn making that square with Mercury going into retrograde, then you're sort of looking at restrictions on the ability to clear anything up. So just a really rough, restrictive energy for your friends that are Geminis and Virgos. So be kind to them. With that aspect as well as the other aspects I'm mentioning, on that Sunday the 3rd, when the moon goes full, the super moon in Gemini goes full, it's not a bad idea to maybe stay away from social media because the instinct to argue is there, because the communication may not be clear with Mercury going retrograde and Saturn making that square with it because of the Mars-Uranus opposition. And the full moon, super moon. So, you know, maybe use Sunday to be a little bit more about reflection. And here's why. There's a beautiful aspect occurring, a very harmonious aspect called a trine between Neptune, again at 11 degrees of Pisces, and the trine is made with Jupiter at 11 degrees in Scorpio. And what this is kind of like wishes fulfilled, like the magical, miraculous energy. So, and a very creative energy. So it's not a bad idea as it's a very fertile, energetic, active day on Sunday. So much is going on Sunday, right? The 3rd, this is the 3rd, the day of the full moon and Mercury retrograde and everything. It's not a bad idea to unplug from social media and maybe take some time to either get yourself into what are your enjoyed creative endeavors, if that's painting or writing or composing music or writing code, anything of that nature, any way that you express yourself. Sunday's a great day to do that. Also, it is a great day to set intentions for things you'd like to manifest in your life because of that miraculous, harmonious energy. So getting into the idea of what you would like, the feeling tone of what it would feel like to have that thing or that person or that situation in your life. How does that make you feel? And then go with that feeling and then release it. So make a simple ritual of it. But very, very, very energetic day Sunday. Now, the retrograde, as I mentioned, starts on the 3rd and it goes direct again on the 23rd of December. So a little bit of time there where we might be dealing with some hiccups with communication. Just, keep that in mind. Read everything twice, check everything twice. Double check what you say before you say it so it's not misconstrued. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was on the 21st, the solstice, Saturn goes back into the constellation of Capricorn. So Saturn is Capricorn's ruler. This is going to make your Capricorn friends or your friends that have a lot of Capricorn energy in their chart very empowered. It's a very positive time. But on a collective, it's a very interesting time as well. Saturn, as I mentioned earlier, is a restrictive energy. It's rules. It's law. And it's coming back to Capricorn. And Capricorn is the 10th house, which is not only our reputations in the world, but it's also institutions like financial institutions, like banking, businesses, courts, things like that. Now, a lot of people have different opinions on what Saturn on a collective returns coming to the 10th house, coming to the house that's ruled by Capricorn, what that's going to mean. I tend to think it's a very positive aspect because I think it's going to bring some, I'm hoping, I'm feeling, it's going to bring some legal government oversight to what are now pretty much Wild West run regulatory organizations. And I'm speaking from an American perspective. So a lot of this is on the American chart, United States, North America. But in our country here, if you're not watching, there's not a lot of oversight there's not a lot of fair and impartial oversight of our regulatory agencies that are meant to protect us, the consumers and citizens. So for example, because our legislators' seats are so for sale by lobbyists, you'll often find someone who was on the board for 30 years of Tyson Chicken now on the board of the, now heading up the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. A major conflict of interest, but there's been a situation or an environment that's been created where that's been possible. I feel that Saturn coming back to Capricorn to the 10th house is going to require that there is some impartial legislative oversight over these organizations that are meant to protect us. And this could be the same in any country if you're affected by this aspect. We're all pretty much affected by this aspect, but I think it's positive. Gosh, I've been going on for a while now here, Leah. So I think that's all the aspects I wanted to cover. There will be a new moon coming up later, but I don't have that aspectarian with me to give you that, but I'll be uploading it in time, and the full moon as well. And I think that's it. So let's get into your reading, Leo. Fixed fire sign using the Thoth deck, doing a 3-card pull based upon the top 3 placements or sephira of the tree of life. So there are a lot of trees of life. Let's say you went on the Kabbalistic tree of life. This would be the top 3 sephira. So this would be Keter, Chokmah, and Binah. If you follow the Kemetic tree of life, this would be the top 3 placements of Amin Asur, Tehuti, and Sekert. Or Jungian, this would be superconscious, conscious, and subconscious. I'm going to go with that. One more. I am using the Thoth or the Tehuti deck. Okay. Hecate, Cosmic Soul, Great Mother. What does Leo need to know for the month of December 2017? What messages do you have for Leo from the highest level of consciousness to the conscious mind, to the intuitive and subconscious mind? What does Leo, fixed fire sign, ruled by the sun, need to know for December 2017? Thank you. So, Superconscious gave you the 10 of Wands in reverse. Looks like you're releasing some burdens, and if you're not, you're being guided to do so. Conscious mind. This is the 4 of Swords, but you got it in reverse. And then the subconscious is indolence, the 8 of Cups in reverse. So I think this is pretty clear here. I think there's a tendency. So the 8 of Cups in reverse is you refusing to move on from a stagnant situation. This is Saturn in Pisces, I think. Yeah. Which is not a good combination. It's the fluidity of the water of Pisces, of the unconscious, connected with the restrictive energy of Saturn. Not a good combination. I think Crowley's called this card the morning after without a night before. It's stagnation. These are unhealthy, sick waters. So you're kind of refusing to move on, to move away from some situation. It feels like it's a personal, like a familial situation or an intimate relationship. And you've been carrying, it looks like you've been carrying the load, the heavy, heavy, oppressive load of maintaining the joy in this relationship. Again, whether it's family or intimate relationship or a group of friends, maybe even business situation. But you've been the one carrying this. Superconscious is telling you to let all of this go. Walk away from this. If this is and it kind of feels like it's a personal relationship. It's either a friend or a relative or an intimate coupling. You've been doing everything. You've been handling everything. You've been carrying the load of showing passion. And it's stagnant and you haven't moved on from it. I don't know why, but your intuition has been not to move on from it. This is the truth. Four of Swords in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck it's the knight that's asleep with the 4 swords. It actually looks like a tomb. And it usually means rest and respite. But you got it in reverse. So it's time to stop the peace. There's really no true peace in staying with the way things have been. You've been carrying this load too long. Whether you're aware of it or not, it is having an impact on you, on your body, on your mind, on your stress levels, because there's no reciprocation of your efforts by the other party. It does feel like 2 people we're talking about here. So again, it could be family, a partnership in business, or an intimate relationship, a coupling. But whatever it is, you're refusing to move away, or you have been refusing to move away from it. And you're kind of being urged here to let it go, move on. I know you don't like to give up on things. That's not a Leo trait. But sometimes it could be causing you more problems in the future if you don't release it and let it go. When it's stagnant waters like this, it's not healthy anyway. So you're not really holding on to anything of value or a strong foundation of anything that's really good for anyone. So put those wands down and move on. You can do this. I know that you can. I know this is hard to hear. I wish I had something more positive to say, but I think it might be for a specific couple of you, but whoever you are, Leo, if you're feeling exhausted, if you're feeling stressed out, if you're feeling that it's unfair because none of the energy and work is being reciprocated by the other party, that's not going to happen. And it is time to walk away from it. All right, I hope this helped someone. I hope this helped you. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below the video. And if you'd like a personal reading, you can email me at mememes@hotmail.com. That email address is in the description box below the video. I'll see you for the lunations, and then I'll see you in the January 2018 readings. You take care, Leo.